What's up, everybody? That's right. It's the end of August. We're coming up on the first weekend of September. You know what that means? You bet. College football is back. Woo! Waited all this time. It's finally here. I'm excited. You're excited. Everybody's excited. It's college football. I mean, what is there to be, upset about? So, let's just get right into it. Obviously, week one, we don't have a whole lot going on. Oh, come here. We don't have a whole lot going on. So, let's get into, some of the conference stuff. We'll go ahead and rank those out. We'll label out our Heisman watch list. We'll talk about our conference picks, the championship games, who's going to be in it, and then we'll get into week one. So first up, conferences. There's been a lot of debate in the past 2 years about maybe the SEC is the top of the, it's sitting in the throne anymore, and that there's other conferences that have kind of matched them as far as superiority or whatever you want to call it. My opinion, this year, the ACC is the #1 conference in college football. From an all-around aspect, all-around teams, ACC is the top of the list. You've got Florida State, who is arguably one of the best teams in college football this year. You have Clemson, who's really not trailing behind them that far. You have Miami, who is way hyped this year, which they are every year, and to be a Virginia Tech fan, I'm not going to give them too much credit, but nevertheless, the expectations are big. You have Louisville, which cannot be slept on because of a man named Lamar Jackson. You have Virginia Tech, who was underestimated last year, and being underestimated this year, which is fine because we're going to be a lot better than people think. You have Georgia Tech out there. You have UNC out there. You have NC State, who's going to surprise a lot of people this year. From an all-around standpoint, the ACC is the best conference in college football. Coming in #2 is the SEC. Yes, Alabama's the best team in the country. However, besides for a handful of teams, LSU, maybe Georgia, maybe Florida, that's about it, folks. Kentucky's kind of going to be a sleeper this year, but as far as everybody else, pack it up. It ain't even there. Following them, the Big Ten. You got Penn State going to be solid this year. Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan. Northwestern's going to be a creeper as well. Coming in at #4, the Pac-12, you got USC, UCLA. Oregon's kind of rebuilding. Colorado had a good year last year. Washington State is going to be, hit or miss out there. Washington, we'll see what they can do. Stanford, of course. And then following up at the end, the Big 12. Besides for Oklahoma, let's be real honest, there's not a whole lot of threat coming out of that conference. So that pretty much sums up our conferences. Let's get into our Heismans. Now, it's always fun to talk about, beginning of the year. Who's your Heisman front runner? Who's going to get this? Blah, 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 blah. Well, a couple names are out there. Quarterback USC. We'll see. USC always seems to have hype, and for some reason the past couple years they just can't seem to follow through in it. So we'll see how that goes. Mr. Barkley at Penn State. I watched this young man play a lot last year. He's a freak. He's got a lot of talent. We'll see. We'll see if it pans out. Penn State is definitely a contender in the Big Ten. So as long as he stays healthy, Penn State's got a legit shot. Mr. Geis at LSU. Watched him play a lot last year. When Fournette went down, you could tell that he was really embracing that spotlight, really wanting to come out and show what he can do. Well, he showed it, and now it is his show. He's the man. If LSU can get a passing attack going this year to help him out instead of being a one-dimensional offense, LSU's got a legit shot. Lamar Jackson, duh. Hello. Did anybody watch this man play last year? He's still got my vote right now for Heisman. If this man can have a season like he did last year, even if they get beat by Florida State and Clemson this year, there's no questioning. As far as an individual performance, Lamar Jackson has got my pick for Heisman. Now, I'm going to throw one out there, a sleeper out of the Pac-12. Luke Falk out of Washington State. This dude throws the football all the time. So, if they can pick up a couple big wins, if he can dial in maybe, 3,500, 4,000 yards and, 25 touchdowns, they're going to be big. He's got to be in the mix, right? So that pretty much wraps up the Heismans. Let's get into our conference picks, and then we'll talk about week 1. Conference picks. Let me start off with the ACC. I hate doing this. I hate to even mention my team because if everybody that's followed me since I started doing this knows that I don't like to brag a lot on Virginia Tech. Obviously, I'm proud, but I usually don't harp and talk about, they're the greatest ever, because let's face it, I'm a realistic Hokie fan, and getting heartbroken is, it falls into our jobs, so, we're used to it. So, the ACC, yes, I'm going to take Florida State to win it out of the Atlantic, and I'm going to take Virginia Tech out of the Coastal. Yes, North Carolina is going to be better than people think. They're not even ranked in the top 25. Miami is the big pick. It's what everybody's going for right now. If anybody even remotely watches ACC football, especially in the Coastal, it's anybody's ballgame. At any given time, the Coastal is a lottery, a roll the dice type of division, and you never know, who is going to win or come to play on Saturday. So I'm going to pick Florida State, Virginia Tech, and I'm going to take the Seminoles to win it. They're also going to be one of my playoff teams. SEC, yes, I said LSU. I still think Alabama's going to win their side of the house, and I'm going to bring the Bulldogs from UGA over to go play in Atlanta. I'm going to take Alabama, my number 2 playoff team. Big Ten is going to shock a lot of people. I'm going to take Michigan, Wisconsin. Jim Harbaugh's been up there doing things in Michigan. He's finally got his recruits playing. He's finally got his team together the way that he wants it. Michigan is going to be a legit contender. And I'm going to take them in the playoffs this year. And I'm going to take them to win the Big Ten. That's right, I said it. The Pac-12, I'm going to take USC and Stanford. I don't follow a lot of Pac-12 football, but judging by what I've read and a little bit that I do watch, I think Stanford's got it together, and I think USC's got it together. But that conference always seems to be up in the air because one week they're playing like NFL caliber players, and the next week they're getting beat by Wyoming High School or something. Who knows? So I'm going to take that. And then in the Big 12, they don't even have a conference game. I'm going to take Mr. Mayfield in Oklahoma. So those are my conference picks. Let's see. Playoffs. Michigan, Florida State, Alabama, USC. Those are the picks there. And let's get into week 1. Okay. We got a couple big games this weekend. Our first one's going to be Maryland, Texas. Texas has been in the top 25. Week 1, usually you're kind of knocking the rust off a little bit, figuring out what works. People got the jitters. It's going to be close. If there's a spread, I would take it. I think Texas is going to win. I don't think it's going to be a very dominant ball game. Next, I'm going to take the ACC, SEC, one of those showdowns for this weekend. NC State, South Carolina. South Carolina has been beating the ACC in the season openers for like the past 3 or 4 years. I think it's going to stop. This NC State has something to prove. I think they're going to be a lot better than people think. They've got a solid offense. Their defense was playing well. They're returning a lot of starters. NC State over South Carolina. Michigan, Florida. Now, I would take this pick regardless, even though Florida has 7 players suspended, whatever it may be, okay? I've said it earlier. Harbaugh is ready. Michigan, I think, is going to be the real deal. I've got them in the playoffs. Michigan over Florida. A game is going to be to watch. Wyoming, Iowa. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't matter. Wyoming's quarterback has been a lot of talk about NFL caliber, and you usually don't hear a lot about Wyoming besides they're getting pummeled by somebody. Iowa better not come to this game sleeping, or they're going to get upset. The Cowboys are coming to play. I don't think they're going to win, but it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I'm going to take Iowa, but it's going to be close. App State, Georgia. I know. The block kick against Michigan, App State, they're the greatest team ever. Not going to happen. Georgia's going to win big. FSU, Bama, the game of the weekend. Okay, Saturday night, Atlanta, number 1, number 3, Saban, Fisher. I'm going to take the ACC again. Jimbo is 7-0 in season openers, although Nick Saban is like 14-0 against his disciples or whatever. I don't know. Something crazy like that. But I'm still going to take Florida State. I think Alabama is, I think they're coming off their throne here soon. And the ACC has a lot to prove right now. There's a lot of hype surrounding them, but they've got to answer the call. I'm going to take Florida State. The late game, BYU, LSU. I think Geis is going to run crazy. BYU Bengals all day long. Sunday night, Black Diamond Trophy. The rivalry is back. The hatred. The West Virginia, Virginia Tech hatred. Okay? Virginia Tech scale of hate. Miami, West Virginia, Virginia. Okay? That's where it is. And we haven't had this rivalry in a long time. I wish I could be up in D.C. to watch this game. I'm not. I'm going to take my boys. I think Fuente has something for them. We got a lot of questions surrounding our offense. Our defense is going to be explosive this year. We have so much talent coming back. Virginia Tech over West Virginia. And then you got Texas A&M, UCLA. You know, Pac-12, SEC, blah, blah. I'm going to take the Pac-12. I'm going to take UCLA on this one. And then Monday night, another ACC, SEC showdown. Georgia Tech, Tennessee. I'm going to roll with the balls on this one. That's my picks for week 1. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Be safe and enjoy it. Week 1 of college football is here. Excited. I'll see you guys back next week.